Hi guys, in case you're wondering, what happened in Maiduguri is not a natural disaster. The government knew about it, they could have prevented it, they did not. In fact, people had been shouting for a long time that some part of the dam had collapsed, but the government officials said it's not true. In my last video, I showed you two Nigerian scammers that killed an American boy, well, directly or indirectly. But the biggest scammer and the biggest murderer in Nigeria is the government. I'll tell you why. The people of Maiduguri have been shouting for a long time now that the Adeola Dam was collapsing. In fact, if you download Google Earth Pro, you will see that the people were right, because this app allows you to go back in time to view high resolution satellite imagery of structures, any structure in the world. You can search for Adeola Dam on that app. You can also use the coordinates that we have on the screen in case you don't find it by typing. Copy the coordinates on the screen, put it in that Google Earth Pro, and you will actually see that some part of the dam had collapsed since 2022, November 2022. This picture you are seeing right now was February 2022, before the dam started collapsing. So you will see the difference, and the date is at the top left corner. And also this was September 2022. Now this one was October 2022. It clearly flooded, and by November 2022 the structures had started collapsing. Some part of the dam had already collapsed. Now look at the before and after, so you know what we're talking about. And if you're wondering what had been holding the water back, it's the dikes. So a dike is a barrier used to regulate or hold water back. It's the walls built around a dam, so that if a dam is overflowing, that wall will now prevent it from getting to the people. But even with that, water had been overflowing gradually, and you know it's been raining a lot, so the water just kept piling up, and the residents had been shouting that there's water overflow from the dam, which poses a major threat to Maiduguri. People have been shouting, which is why a week ago the governor finally sent a delegation, a high-powered delegation, that is what they call them, to go and assess the impact of the water overflow from the dam that people were complaining about. It is high-powered delegation because the secretary to Borno State government led the delegation. The acting managing director of Chad Basin Development Authority was part of the delegation. The Borno Geographic Information Service was represented in this delegation, as well as the State Emergency Management Agency, just to name a few. And they also took some engineers with them. But somehow, this high-powered delegation came back with a report that there was nothing to worry about. In fact, let me read what they said. They said, despite the high water level in the river, which led to overflow, the present condition does not pose a severe threat to the city. Maiduguri is safe. So they saw that there was high water level and that the water was overflowing, but according to them, there was no severe threat. And this was all over the news, by the way, on September 5th. That was last week, Thursday. Some people reported it on Friday that Borno's government would like to assure its people that Maiduguri is safe and there's no threat of flooding. And you know, I spoke with people that live in Maiduguri, and they told me that they even showed them the delegates on TV, telling them no cause for alarm. You see, I understand if they didn't want people to panic, so they told them, well, everything is okay, but then we have to start evacuating, you know. But for you to know, for you to see that some part of the dam had already collapsed, but you now downplay the danger, that is wickedness on another level. In fact, that is intentionally trying to slaughter people, your own people. Do you know that in the middle of the night on Tuesday, they gave their report on Thursday, no be so. In the early hours of Tuesday, while people were still sleeping, 4 days after, some parts of the dike collapsed. That is the wall that had been holding the water back, and that sent a surge of water into the city. And because it happened at night, thousands of people were trapped. There were so many people that were washed off in their sleep. 70% of Maiduguri is now submerged in water. They said at least 37 people have died, you know. But when they tell us 37, we know that it must be at least 50 people. And about 1 million people have been displaced. The National Emergency Management Agency is telling us that that number may rise to 2 million. 2 million. Bridges are collapsing. Hospitals are being flooded. A new cancer center that just opened at the teaching hospital hospital is now completely underwater. You know, people were celebrating, people were excited when they opened that cancer center. It is one of the few radiotherapy and cancer centers in northern Nigeria, and in fact in the country as a whole. And all the world-class equipment that they just installed there, all of them are now soaked in water. Crops have been destroyed, markets are flooded, people are hungry. There are people that have not eaten in days, and as expected, the price of food has jumped up significantly in Maiduguri. The last time I spoke with my friends in Maiduguri, they said one loaf of bread is now 2,000 naira. A half bag of rice is 80,000. Half bag of rice. So I see that the government is giving out food. I'm saying mostly bread. I'm not saying that that is all that they are giving out. I'm just saying it's not enough to sustain people. Workers at the Kiarimi Zoo said that at least 80% of their animals are now dead. So many reptiles were washed into people's homes and on the streets. People are talking about snake bites. And they are also seeing crocodiles. In fact, they killed one crocodile in self-defense, which is why I don't understand why our vice president was walking in the water when he went to visit. He's from Borno State. He was the governor before the present governor of Borno State. Maybe they want us to see that he's identifying with the people in their suffering. I don't know. But they could have gotten him a boat. Not that he's better than the rest of the people that were affected, but as a vice president, they could have put him in a boat, at least so that snake will not bite him. You will see video of an entire street, well, what used to be a street, now filled with water, and people are there trying to move from one place to another inside water. It's not fair now. Cars were destroyed, numerous cars. Homes have been destroyed. In another country, you know, by now they would have fired all those delegates. But I'm just... especially those engineers that said no cause for alarm. The governor has to take responsibility, even though he went by the report that the delegates gave him. In fact, as the governor, he should have paid attention to how that money is being spent. The money that they were supposed to use to prevent all of this, we will still get to that money. So he needs to take responsibility. You know, this same dam collapsed in September of 1994, exactly 30 years ago. We didn't learn. It is now that the engineers are now telling us and the dikes and other critical structures of the dam have outlived their capacity. I said shoo. And according to the Executive Director of Administration and Finance of the Northeast Development Commission, a contract had been awarded to replace these dikes we're talking about and other critical structures of the dam. But guess what? Nothing was done. I'm like, okay, what happened to that contract? Who got paid? How much were they? They need to come out clean so that we know exactly what we are dealing with. Not only that, just in the first 6 months of this year, Borno State allegedly received 816 million naira. That is getting close to 1 billion, no be so? And that's according to the Federal Account Allocation Committee's data published by the National Bureau of Statistics. The ecological funds are to prevent serious ecological problems nationwide. So they are disbursed to the federal government, the state government, the local government. Every single state gets this ecological fund. So there is actually no state in Nigeria that should be devastated during the rainy season. The least they can do is build good drainage system in every single state. But like so many other government projects in Nigeria, Borno State allegedly spent only 2% of the money that they collected. 2.4% of the money on erosion and flooding control. They said that they spent 20 million. So I'm like, okay, what happened to the remaining 800 million? The remaining 796 million. What happened? Is somebody going to come out and tell us exactly what happened to the rest of this money? You only spent 2.4. It's not even up to 2.5% of the money that you collected. What? How can you divert almost 98% of what you collected into something else? The way corruption is affecting us in Nigeria, it's like we don't understand that we are killing ourselves because of corruption. You see, when we say that government officials are killing people, that they are killers, they are murderers, we are not sugarcoating, because look at what happened now. Because of them diverting the money that they were supposed to use into something else, at least 37 people have now lost their lives. About 1 million have been displaced. I've seen several videos of soldiers and NEMA officials distributing food, but the people were not supposed to be in this situation in the first place. Nigerian officials, they like to create chaos. You created a disaster, and then you are also trying to paint yourself as the savior, trying to help people out of the disaster. But the people should not have been in this situation in the first place. I've seen babies, guys, babies. These babies don't deserve this. I've seen babies, they were rescuing them. The cemetery was also flooded. Keep that in mind. Yes, the soccer ways have been flooded. So all the human waste is also part of what is in this water now. And what you will not see in the media is that a lot of people have been told that a lot of people are preparing food on their own, taking it out to give it to those that have been displaced, those that are now homeless. There are so many families in Borno right now that are sharing what they have with strangers. And I've been told that one of the schools that we visited in Maiduguri in 2017 has now been turned into a refugee camp. In fact, the governor's lodge where we stayed at when we went to visit the IDPs, Lagos House, I heard is now underwater. The first refugee camp that we went to is no longer a refugee camp, but they've sent me pictures and videos. The whole place is now filled with water. And keep in mind, this is a country where people don't have insurance. Well, most people don't have insurance, and so they have to start all over. So if anybody would be willing to help out, please and please, I know that I've told myself that I will not do something like this anymore because the request can be overwhelming, but please, if anybody is willing to help out, we have people on ground that will buy food, that will buy bags of rice and give to people. This is our Nigerian bank account, Kawa Foundation. That is Keeping It Real with Adeola Foundation. Keeping It Real is the name of my show. If you are abroad, you can also donate. You can use Lemfi or any other app that you know. You don't have to use Lemfi just because I'm advertising for Lemfi. But use any app that will not charge you money. If you give us $5, that will be 8,000 naira. If you give us $10, it will be 16,000 naira. And we'll give account of every amount. And if anybody wants to be super generous and you want to donate $100, please know that Lemfi will give you $30 back. So technically you will be giving us $70, but we will get the value of $100, and that will go a mighty long way. We just want to buy food for people and basic necessities. Like right now, a lot of women will still be going through their period. What do you think will happen to them? Like, they no longer have a house. They are not even thinking about pads and stuff like that. And let's not even talk about babies. You know, people need babies' food right now. Little children, the elderly people that are stuck. Let's not even talk about the dangers posed by this disaster, like cholera outbreak. We have people on ground that can help. The government is helping, but we can also help. Individuals can also help. In fact, the people that we have on ground, they're already helping out of their own pocket. So if you're interested, please donate for us, and we'll give account of every amount that we collect. Please and please share this video. Share it on your social media platform. Share it on your WhatsApp. Maybe there's somebody that will be willing to help out. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're yet to. Alright guys, it's been real, and I'm keeping you up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, I'm gonna see you all later. Peace out.